Read about wondering whether she'd ever finish feeling angry at her husband for leaving her. There's something really important that I wanted to share with you about that. I had some people who have talked about their path kind of in and out of anger about their spouse, their husband leaving them when they passed away. So the anger will dissipate and it will move into something else. One of the things I want everyone to know and share is the anger is normal and our grief journey is normal. What I'm here to do to help you and people in this group is to find, kind of where they are on that grief journey in the, I like to call it a bit of recovery. I think that we recover and are on a path to recovering from the death of our husband. It isn't that we get over it, we move forward and we can become whole again. That sometimes on that path we get stuck in not knowing what to do next or what is normal. So here's the what I would like to offer for that answer about will I get over the anger. I think you will likely always have periods of anger because your life changed and it changed in a way that you didn't want, and it's absolutely normal to have that anger. What I've noticed for myself and for other people I've worked with is that on the path of from that moment that your husband or their husband has died or my husband died, is that the anger would come and it would subside and it would come and it would subside. But there was a moment when it was like, okay, I really don't want this as much as I did anymore. I miss my husband. I love him dearly. I wish that it never happened. It's the worst thing in the world that could happen. And there's studies to prove that. But I want my life to feel better. And that's what I'm here today to share with this answer, is there is something called the emotional scale. And you will see when you're on the emotional scale where you are and what you can do to take the next step to feel better. Often we want to skip about 6 steps and go from the anger and the sadness and depression, and we want to feel joyful and happy and, kind of, it doesn't happen always that way that easily. There is a progression. So if you can understand and see with this emotional scale that it's just taking the next step to feeling better, and it doesn't always mean that you have to make that step to happiness. So I will put a copy of the emotional scale in the files so you can download, and you can then rewatch or pause the video right now and go download that or go put it up on your computer and watch while I show you. So this is the emotional scale, and I hope this shows up in the video. And so at the top of the emotional scale is joy, appreciation, and power, freedom, love, and passion. Those are generally the highest emotions that are the best feeling emotions we can have. This scale is this is a 10-step scale, and there's really about 22 separate ones, but these group them just to make it easy right now. I go through some of the 22-step pieces in workshops and other things, different coaching that I do. So that is number 1. Number 10. Number 9 is enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness. So if you're feeling happy, a better feeling thought for that would be joy, appreciation, empowered, or feeling love or passion. And a step towards thought that doesn't feel as good would be positive expectations, belief, and optimism. I am taking you 10 to 1, and then I'll get back to why we would start at 1. And then number 7 is hopefulness, contentment. Number 6 is boredom and pessimism. Number 5 is frustration, irritation, impatience, and overwhelm. I'll just hold that up for a little bit. Number 4 is disappointment and doubt. Number 3 is worry, blame, and discouragement. And also anger and revenge is in that spot for 3. Number 2 is, number 2 is anger, revenge, hatred, rage, and jealousy. So I'm just going to let you see there. So you can see number 2, number 3. And number 1, these are basically the worst feeling emotions that you will feel. That if you feel these, you likely won't feel worse than this, or if it seems like it's not on this list, it is still this type of emotion and we've just called it something different. So we've got insecurity, guilt, unworthiness, fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. So this will show you where you are. I move around here a bit. Sometimes videos are fun. I'll put this up again as we go through the steps. So you can see like grief and despair are you know, we're really at a bottom level of the emotions that we feel. Now that may sound horrible, but it's totally natural for you. And the good news is that it won't take much to move you to the next level. So you can see here that if you were to start at level, you know, where we are now or where you are now, you might be in that grief stage. You might be a little bit higher, but many of you still feel those moments of grief. And I do too. I had one not too long ago. It popped out of, and I'll maybe talk about that later, but it popped out of me at my sister-in-law's memorial service. So, you know, these moments still pop up. The thing is, you can move up the scale faster as you move forward and get into more of that recovery. So if you're feeling grief, unworthiness, fear, depression, despair, and powerlessness, all you need to do to start to feel better is to move one step up, and that's where the anger would be. Anger, revenge, hatred, rage, jealousy. If you are angry, so this was the question, will I ever not feel angry? If you're ready to take a step and start moving out of the anger phase, and I don't want you to push this, but there's a time where we just get tired of feeling like that and we want to feel different. The next feeling thought is worry, blame, and discouragement. So you can move from anger to blame, and it's actually a better feeling thought, if that makes sense. If you move to thoughts of blame or worry, and you could maybe even go up 2 steps to disappointment or doubt, and that could be disappointment that you're feeling disappointed that you are now a widow, that your husband has left you, that you're all alone, that he's not by your side to be that soulmate, that best friend. You could have feelings of and thoughts of doubt that, you know, about the future, about how you're going to make it through. Those are still feeling better than feeling angry. So if you download this scale and look at it and see where you are, I know some of you are already, you know, you're looking at maybe some boredom and pessimism. So if you're feeling bored and pessimistic, then what would help you feel a little more contented and hopeful? Now, when I talk about these things, and I can maybe do a whole little, you know, there may be a way that I can share this in a more in-depth training. Was trying to keep this answer short, but it's already 9 minutes long. So I'm going to leave it for now because that's likely enough information. But one thing you could do, if you wanted, is to write yourself a couple of affirmations. So if you were wanting to move from anger to disappointment, instead of writing out I am angry, you could start writing out I am disappointed because I am alone. I am disappointed because I can't share my life with my husband. Whatever, and start to shift that and start moving your way up the emotional scale. But it is nearly impossible to go from like anger and revenge or even worry and blame up to happiness and joy. Those are big leaps, so we want to move up the scale. And it can be done, you know, maybe in a shorter amount of time and in little pieces. It, you know, even if you could do, say, 2% of the day in a better feeling thought, will start to shift a lot of things. There's about energy and vibration and a whole science behind why this works. So anyway, that is kind of my tip on the anger, is to allow it to be there, acknowledge that it's there, acknowledge why it's there. And when you start to feel tired, that, you know, it's just time, I just don't want to be angry anymore. And even knowing that it's going to pop up every now and then, but you want a next step, is to think about the next feeling thought, better feeling thought and feeling, which would be worry, blame, and discouragement, or disappointment and doubt would be even 2 steps ahead, which I know you can do. So that's my tip on what to do with the anger and when you're ready to try something different. I hope that helps. And I'm Lorna with Accelerated Success Consulting, and you're going to see me in this group a little bit more. Thanks. Bye-bye.